I'll also remind you, when interacting, we're going to give them each about 10 minutes, ask them for 5 minutes so that we can get some Q&A back and forth. You can ask the question you'd like, and then any excess time they can use up as well. Things to consider. Impact, right? What type of impact it's making? Is there collaboration with other organizations going on? And then the breadth of what they're talking about, I think is also what we want to focus in on this year. But so that's how you can help set that mindset so that when we have our deliberation discussions, we're set. With that, anybody have any questions?
What was the middle one you said? You said impact, and then the breadth of it. What was the
Collaboration.
Collaboration. Okay. Thank you.
Yep. No other questions? All right, we'd like to introduce our first presenter today, and that is Visit Kids App.
And should we introduce ourselves?
Sure. Yeah, let's do that. So I'm board chair, John Morsey, city councilman.
Annette Stewart.
Lorraine Olson with Mrs. House Bed and Breakfast.
Randy Wallace, city clerk staff.
Tony Clark, Chamber of Commerce, South Kids App.
Samantha Smith at Porter Bay Street Association.
Perfect.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for introducing yourselves and thank you for your time being in this committee. I am Aljalyn Sperber, the Executive Director for Visit Kids App. We are the DMO for the county, and this year we are making an ask of $5,000 for photography. It's focused on marquee events for the city of Orchard that will be used for us, the website, social media, email marketing, and for our tourism partners. Before I go into more of that, I just wanted to share the reach that we have online. We have over 195,000 reach combined with the total website visits that we get, social media followers, and email subscribers. We have an average open rate of 9% with a click-through rate of 9% with an average open rate of 32%. This year we launched a new website that is more responsive and representative of the, it's just more modern and easier to navigate. And since that launch, we've had over 17,000 new sessions. We launched it September 1st, and today is October 30th. This year we've had 185 sessions year to date for the website in total. So with that being said, the reason why we are asking for funding for marquee photos or photos for marquee events for the city of Port Orchard is to really showcase the events and the culture of Port Orchard and be able to showcase that on our website and other marketing that we do, and be able to share that with media partners and our tourism partners and the different scenic attractions through compelling visuals. We hope that it will drive event-based tourism and encourage overnight stays. With marketing efforts, we'll be focused on promoting events like the Fathoms of Fun Festival, Mosquito Fleet, which was so great this year. I really enjoyed attending that. The Port Orchard Farmers Market, which is so huge. I loved hearing that they had an opening of what, 4,000, the thousands of attendees. And so those have a great track record of attracting visitors from the Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, and beyond areas. So our drive markets. This approach will highlight lodging options, encourage multi-day itineraries. So we do have specific itinerary page on the website, and leverage partnerships with local hotels to offer any packages that they would like to offer to help increase the likelihood of overnight stays. Some data I meant to share earlier before I dove into this. For tourism year to date for the city of Port Orchard, there's been 264,885 trips, 508,854 visitor days. So those are the number of days added to the trips that have happened, and 1.9 days, so 2 days on average stay. We're not saying that this is attributed to the work that we're doing. I'm just giving you data so that you have something to work off of. A lot of the visitors are coming again from drive markets. I know I mentioned Seattle, Tacoma, and Portland, but also Port Angeles, Bellingham, Spokane, and Vancouver, Washington. And we will make sure that we will provide tourism data with our submissions. I know that's a requirement anyway. And then also would love to be able to use these for advertising that we do digitally. That's it.
That was a lot of information.
Yeah.
A little over 5 minutes. That's pretty impressive.
You good?
Yeah.
Okay, questions for our presenter?
I am so impressed with the data that you have access to. How do you collect that?
We use tools like Datafy that provides all the different tourism data, like I mentioned with trips, visitor days, average numbers to stay, where they're coming from, demographic data, and then we can also break it down by why people are coming. 42% county average is outdoor rec, and then 12% county average is events and venues. We also are able to use STR data, Smith Travel Research, which provides occupancy rate, average daily rate, so hotel data. And then also AirDNA, which is Airbnb data.
Thank you. And then is that, can anybody access that, or is that,
So we are working with our board, I forgot to mention, we have new board members, one from the Marina Square Suites, the Fairfield Inn and Hampton Inn, the co-owner of Restaurant Lola, and somebody from Holland American Cruise Line, and the town manager for Port Gamble, and our previous board president just resigned. So we're going through different restructures, and I bring that up because we're going to be talking about how do we offer this data. Right now, we can offer it for free, just pulling quick numbers and not putting an executive summary together. But we're talking about, okay, if people need more detailed, comprehensive reporting, how do we charge for that and make it accessible?
thank you.
Yep.
Any other questions? No? Yeah.
And I just have a comment. This is your first year, and just really appreciate that you moved back and that you're here. We feel really lucky to have you here. You've really done a lot in this first year.
I feel lucky to still be here and then to get to promote where I love to live. So thank you.
Us too.
Thank you for everybody's time.
No, thank you, and we'll be in touch.
Okay,
Thank you for being so thorough and getting us back on track.
Appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, the next one's here, so we can keep rolling.
You can tell to have a little box popping up on your screen.
Oh, yeah, I'm wondering what it's saying, because I can't read it from back here. Hopefully it's still recording. Let's see, recording. Let's just take this off.
And feel free to ask me questions from when you read anything in these. They don't have to talk about today, whatever question you have. We are good to hear.
For.
She might be a little problem in here. Counter it off.
Just emailed you.
I can use that
Constantly.
Excellent. The format first.
Yeah, so thank you for being here. Our next presenter is the Polaris Theater. We're doing an introduction. So my name is John Morrissey. I'm the LTAC chair.
Next door, I have Smitty's group.
I'm Lorraine with Mrs. House Bed and Breakfast.
Brandy Wallace, city clerk, city staff.
Cody Clark, Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce.
It is so nice to meet you all for the first time.
Yeah.
We have 15 minutes left. We're going to give you 10 of them, leaving 5 for Q&A. Anything we don't take up in Q&A will be given back to you.
Okay. Just want to start. Yeah, and I guess I want to also point out that we are technically the Port Orchard Historic Theater Foundation. We are not for profit, but what we're going to call the theater, what we are calling the theater is the Polaris Theater. So every now and then there's a few people that don't realize we're a not for profit. So, you know, I wanted to relay that I feel like we fit in kind of awkwardly at this point in time. Until we have our theater open as a venue, and it will not just be a cinema, it will be an events, meeting space, comedy, music, art, entertainment. We often have student film festivals, all that kind of stuff. And then I think we'll really be a major attraction in downtown Port Orchard and in the region. So, but we're not there yet. So what we decided to do was concentrate first on the alley, which was a total disaster mess, and improved it significantly and have activated it and are very excited about the things we've done there. And then the exterior of the building. And you may have noticed we're working on the front of it right now. The marquee is next. And we need probably about $1 million to finish the inside. And we are working very diligently on grants, some state funding, major donors, corporations. But it's been very slow going. I don't know if you guys remember that movie, The Money Pit. Yeah. So, but it's a very historical building, and you know, and just I think it was probably clear in there, and the rest of you probably know. I mean, a separate LLC that is comprised of myself and my husband and my son and my daughter-in-law bought the building itself, and then we started a separate foundation for the lower part. So we're just trying to make the outside look good so people in South Kitsap who sometimes think nothing's ever happening will know something's happening. And we feel like in the future, we're going to be a great collaborator and partner with the Community Events Center, which I'm a huge fan of and was very engaged in getting that project rolling. But we want people to be able to see there's something happening, even though there's nothing happening inside yet. So that was our focus on the alley and the outside of the building and then activating. And because we need so many dollars for the inside, we're trying to do whatever we can to be a part of the downtown events, collaborate with them, do a few things on our own, support the downtown businesses, give people another place to come and hang out. And that's what we're using funds for, from LTAC for the alley. We actually didn't use all of what we were given last year. Don't ask me how much because I have to figure out all the reimbursements, but I know we're not going to go up to the full 5,000. We don't want to go to a lot of other sources to do what we're trying to do in the alley because we need those sources for our renovation restoration project inside. So, but we were very excited about the response we got this summer. One of the things we're trying to focus on in the alley is that to in some small way mimic what we hope to do inside. So art, culture, history. We actually did a movie night, and we didn't hold it at the alley. We held it at Port Orchard Fort. It was very successful. You know, so art and entertainment, culture and history, in a small way inside the alley. I've been a part of every single project that is coming to you today over the last 15, 20 years, going back to 2007 when I started at the Chamber. So I'm a big fan of supporting those events, and that's what we're trying to do. But I also know that it's very difficult for all of us organizations in Port Orchard to put heads in beds for our events and activities. And I think that happens a little bit, but I don't think it happens a lot. And I mentioned this to somebody. I was a little disappointed there was no, that the economic question was kind of thrown out of this year's LTAC, because what all our events do in Port Orchard is bring economy to downtown Port Orchard, to the greater South Kitsap region buying gas at restaurants, shopping, or maybe they don't shop, but they go, oh, I'm gonna come back and shop there. But putting heads in beds is a little tougher. We've seen a great growth in bed and breakfasts, Airbnbs, not so much in the hotels. So that's just always a sticking point, a hard thing to say what it's doing. And I understand that the RCW, the original start of lodging tax, they used heads and beds with hotels because they had to measure in some way. We can't measure how many people go into Josephine's or go to the dock or wherever else, but we can measure through hotel stays, but that's a tough one. So I guess that's the main thing I wanted to say. I mean, I talked about some of the things we did in the proposal this last summer and going back to the fall before Christmas, a couple of Christmas events. We participated in the senior parade. We had bingo. We had a science slam presentation by Bob Abel. We've had a number of musicians in who brought their students, which was some of the most popular things we've done, having these young musicians come and get up on stage. All of you seen the stage or the space, okay? Because it's a nice little stage there. We've got sound equipment. We've gotten some sails. Finally, need another one so that we can do some stuff in inclement weather. We've partnered with a number of the service organizations. Most recently, Portage Rotary was supposed to do something and it poured down rain. Same day we had to cancel night markets. So and we think of all the other things we've done. Anyway, so, Boo Bash, that we've been very well received in the community.
Questions for the Polaris?
So I do. I first want to say I really miss the dock, and I know that was hard, but
It was.
sorely miss it. But thank you for all the years
Thank you.
that you were there. And then I also want to say, I think the backstage alley was a genius idea. And I was at Bob's presentation this summer, and it was one of those really hot days, and I don't do hot weather well, but there was like a breeze in there. It was, where did that come from?
Yeah, well, it's such a narrow space. It does, you know.
It has a funnel, or what do you call that, a funnel or
Yeah.
that comes through, but it was just an amazing, night. I really enjoyed it. I was really impressed to experience it. I walked by it.
Yeah, you know, when we first decided to put some funding, and that was all through grants and service organizations into the alley, as a board, and I was kind of going, oh, shouldn't we just keep putting it into the interior? But I realized it really was a positive thing to do, to give us some more space in Port Orchard. But again, I just want to go back to, so people can see something's happening.
Well, and I think you're building capacity. They're gonna have a relationship with Backstage, and then, you know, when you open, more people know about it, I think.
Yeah.
And then I, remember if I had any questions, but the other comment I had is that I really appreciate what you're doing now. I think you fit in well with who we are as a lodging tax committee. I mean, not everything's gonna fit in as, the perfect square or circle. And I think it's exciting to be a part of what you're doing. Because my mother used to come to that theater back in the 30s as a teenager, and it's really important in our family.
We get a lot of that. I mean, people, and we give people peeks inside, especially old timers and people who've been around for a while, but we get a lot of people commenting about the very first movie they saw or what they did here or there, or yeah, that they saw rats running across the front of the theater. People do say that, so.
That happens.
I know.
Well, thank you. Really appreciate all that you're doing in rescuing that beautiful old theater.
Thank you, Lorraine.
Anybody? I'm gonna jump in. So I see your marketing budget and some of the things there. And then I look at your other financials. Talk to us about some of the other quote unquote sponsors or investors in the place.
In the building itself. Well, we haven't had as much success as we wanted. We went out for a building for the arts, and surprisingly to us, didn't get it because we were very successful when we worked on the Roxy, which I think almost all of you know that my husband and I helped with the reopening and restoration of the Roxy. We're on that board. So, and there was a lot of reasons for that. They actually, I can't remember the figures, but they had a huge request this year. So we did not get building for the arts, but we have another avenue we're working on. But we've gotten local corporation money from Lowe's and Cowlitz Tribe, and as I said, service organizations. We've had some success with Sheeny
So
Foundation.
that's just the,
And, yeah.
yes, but not.
That's, I'm trying to remember, I honestly didn't go through the financials, I just turned them in, but we're looking, one of the things we're doing is working on the inside right now to tidy it up and getting some new conceptual drawings, because the minute we know we've got some potential grant, we're going to start bringing in a donor for a quick view, sit down, here's a conceptual. So we have a number of major donors, corporate donors in the works that have told us they want to support us, but we need to get a chunk of change. And I think most of you know how grants work. If we can say, well, we've got this 150,000 or this 500,000, then other people will come along. I mean, that's how we did it with Roxy. So
And I can say that I checked off learned something new today, that was the oldest hit, standing theater in our county.
it is in Kitsap County, yeah.
I
And
did not know that.
so we're just finishing our centennial year. It opened in 1924, and I gave a little history in the proposal.
Mhm.
And it's never been anything but a theater. Now, it's had several closures over the 100 years, but I mean, the Roxy, I think is 83, or we're going into 84, Admiral's 82. But no, it's the longest, and it was started, there was the community theater upstairs for many years. But it is the oldest operating theater, or mostly operating.
And is there anything new maybe on the horizon that's coming here for the alley or Polaris?
We want to repeat a lot of what we've done, and honestly, and when I mentioned that we didn't use all the LTAC lodging, you know, we're like every other small volunteer foundation with a small group of volunteers, a pretty good board. In fact, it's probably one of the more closest to 100% active boards I've been on, and I've been engaged with a lot of boards over my life. But we had bigger eyes in our stomach. Is that how it goes? So we did not do everything that we wanted to do. We wanted to do First Fridays throughout the whole summer, although I think we feel like that First Fridays are too much. Some of the groups and artists and musicians we're in competition with other First Fridays, so I think we're going to switch to a First Saturday or something like that. And there are several other things. One of the things we wanted to do was a historic passport that would have helped us collect more information from who our attendees were, but also to spread them out around downtown. And we didn't get that done, but we're determined to do that this year, this next summer. So, but I think we'll repeat a lot of the stuff. Again, we want to focus on music and art and students. And we had a kids market, which is that redundant to farmers market? I don't think so. It was fabulous. And we wanted to do a second one, but just bring in more kids and families and art and music.
Last chance for questions for the Polaris.
I think it's a great place. I love it. Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And appreciate what you guys are doing. So sat at this table before. So, all right.
So I have another question for you, but it has nothing to do with Polaris.
Okay.
So I've been talking back and forth with you about my logo for Sunrise Gas and Chimney.
Oh,
Did it work?
That's you.
It's me.
Well, I just sent an email before I came into Sarah Johnson, who is on the POPSA board, who's doing our website, and I haven't sent her to her yet.
Okay.
But cause yeah, it just came through as a different, and I'm only this good, and so I think it probably.
I had to send it to my website.
Okay.
Please.
I just sent her an
Sorry.
email and said I had you and another one that I would send her, and I thought it would work better, so.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna make a plug for the Holiday on the Bay. We're so excited. You know, Sam's our leader. I'm helping as much as I can, and we just hit 1,500, I think, for sponsorship. So,
That
yeah,
include the $20,000 check you got yesterday, or $2,000 check you got yesterday?
the Rotary.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, 20,500. I just got confirmed on, one. I'm pretty sure it's gonna be 1,000. That'll take us to 25. And, she started out saying she wanted 10.
I know.
And I told Steve, we can do 10. And then we raised it to 15, then we raised it to 20. And I think we're gonna have at least one more 5 coming in, I really think. So that with what the city's doing, and then all the service organizations, well, not service organizations, but the chamber and Fathoms, and it's gonna be.
I just know my Rotary couldn't let one Rotary.
I know, that's why we went that way. Yes, 2,000 from SK Rotary, 2,000 from Port Orchard Rotary, 2,000 from Kitsap Bank. Your 500, a bunch of 500s, then 5,000 Swan Square Mall, 5,000 Stokes Auction, the 1,000 I just got is BJC. And I know I'm missing some others, but yeah, I'm really excited about it. So, yeah, so just now, I just have to. Wait for good weather.
Yeah.
Thank you guys, bye.
Yeah.
It's a small one. We can make up our own list.
Last year they asked for 32.5. Last year was 29.7. I'm sorry, balance, was that number? you had? Oh, five, that's for full. Oh, four. Welcome, balance.
Welcome.
Come in and have a seat. Right. All right, it's 2:05, I'm gonna begin.
Perfect.
So, our little format today is, we have 15 minutes together, 10 of which I'm gonna hand to you. The other 5, we're gonna hold for questions and answers from the committee. In the event that we don't use all 5, we'll turn it back over to you for anything at the end.
Okay.
My name is John Morrissey. I represent the city of Port Orchard City Council and am chair of this committee.
Matt Stewart, I have, Smitty Scoop.
Hi, I'm Lorraine Olson with Mrs. House Bed and Breakfast. Brandy Wallace, city clerk, staff.
Cody Clark, Chamber of Commerce.
Dan Thompson.
All right.
Sure.
Well, this is our first time, so I don't really know the format or what you want, but I can just tell you what we enjoy and how we can see the money helping us with, Fathoms in the city. So obviously, our biggest events are our parade and our fireworks. We're also looking at expanding our concerts a little bit. So I think those are the areas that we need the assistance the most. We also hold the pageant, how we do that at Harper Hill when we pick our royalty group, and then of course we also do all the parades around. I am looking at trying to reach out to all the people around Leavenworth. We went to the Leavenworth Festival and Kashmir has a float. Prosper has a float, so I want to try to reach out to them to see if we can get them to us and us to them. So we're working, biggest thing is we want to work on sponsorships. I feel like Fathoms has kind of done what they do for many years without a lot of difference. So I'm hoping that we can kind of bring some new energy. I feel we've had a pretty good year so far, had a couple of hiccups. Kitsap County wasn't too nice to us, but that's okay, it happens. So we'll just work through that. I guess outside of that, I mean, personally, I'm now going to Givens Community Center on Mondays, the first Monday of the month, because it's senior luncheon. 2 of the ladies from our Concerts by the Bay asked us to come. It opened up my eyes about, just trying to get back in the community and just be a part of it. So I'm really excited to make Port Orchard better as best we can through Fathoms. So.
As far as for tourism specifically, a couple of the new things we're trying out is we want to expand, like John was saying, expand the parade and try to get more of the people from across the pass to come down, and even some of our Canadian floats that we see, Penticton and
Richmond.
yeah, a couple other floats that are just right over the Canadian border too, and get them to come down a little further, because they come to like Marysville and they come to Leavenworth, but trying to see what we can do to coordinate with each other to expand and get their groups to come to us and vice versa. Another thing that we're looking into trying out this year for the marketing aspect is working with the other groups with a kind of a reciprocal marketing strategy to where on our new website, which we are just about to launch our brand new, very updated website. Having a kind of like our float tour, which is, or our royalty tour, which is here are all the different places we're gonna go. So if you wanna follow our royalty or you wanna experience some other festivals, these are the ones we're going to, and then we'll advertise for them in a sense, but in, I guess. The reciprocal of that is, that all of theirs will also say, hey, come to Fathoms of Fun, come to Port Orchard this weekend, this is an awesome festival, we're going, and try to get some of their people to come to help expand the tourism aspect of it. Also with the bands, in order to get bands from further outside of our area, thus bringing their kind of communities, like we have a couple of bigger bands that have quite a following that will come, especially if we're wanting to go outside that 50-mile radius. Getting some bands and their followings coming to us does cost more money, which is why we haven't been able to expand that too much yet. So that's one thing we're looking at trying to expand also, is having more sponsorships, having more funding in different ways to get those bands from farther out and to get people from farther out coming to us. I feel like there was one other that I was trying to think of and now my brain's gone.
I can tell you one other focus too that we're working on is, I don't want Fathoms to have a stamp on everything we do. We don't, it's about Port Orchard. And obviously Port of Bremerton, but I want it to be about the community because it's more about the people. We're trying to provide a service for them, so. Fathoms, I want us to be strong and healthy to provide those, but it's more about what we're doing and not us, so.
Working with the other groups and
Yeah.
seeing what we can do.
We've had a really good year working with everyone. It's been really nice.
And thank you so much for explaining the reciprocal, what did you call it, reciprocal advertising? I've never even heard of that before, I was gonna ask about that. That's very creative, and it actually gets our word out even more, I think, by doing that.
And ideally, it shouldn't cost a whole lot. Because really, we already are creating whatever our marketing flyers are elsewhere, like if we have somebody, what is the name? Graphics, we have like the graphic artist making the flyers and everything, and then all they're doing is, putting it on their website, putting it on their Facebook or other social medias and stuff that really doesn't cost anything, just time. So that's kind of obviously we don't need money for that piece of it, but it's just something that we're trying out because we want to expand and get more people to come and coming out with us because we're cool. So.
All right, team, questions for the Fathoms?
I just have a question, but it's kind of about, it's about the parade, but. So, my family had gone to a couple parades this year and they didn't have the political. Yes, like this one has become. Is there a way to make it so it's not so political, or, I mean, it just. What, I understand it, but it just seems, it was nice not to have that.
Yes, well, after another month, we'll have to worry about it for a while, but yes.
So I will answer that. I am the new parade chair now. When it comes to the political, in the past, so this was my first year doing it, so I did exactly kind of what was done in the past, just to learn. And in the past, we don't charge a fee at all for people to come and be in our parade, except for political candidates, political parties. So that's the only income that comes in from specifically the parade itself, participant wise. Looking at that though, that's like every 2 years, we're gonna have, as you've seen, a lot of political people, because about every 2 years is a big voting year, basically. I want to get more of the fun stuff because I don't like looking at that either. I don't, and trying to fit it all like at the end of the parade and every other, and it's a nightmare for me. So my plan this year is to, I haven't thought about whether to cut it out completely and not allow it, or only to like maybe allow parties and not individual candidates to minimize it, I think would be a good way to do it. But my goal aside of that is to boost all the other stuff as well. Reaching out, I've been making a list of all the parades we go to of people that are even somewhat local that don't even come to ours, and advertising and trying to get more of those to make it bigger to kind of also minimize that impact. So maybe, because you brought up, I'm just now thinking of it, maybe the good or the balance of that is to just only allow parties. That way, you know, we're not ostracizing any of our leaders, city government, whatever, or potential leaders, I guess. But also minimizing that, because I agree, when you go to parade and just see political candidate, it's boring. It's not fun. And I wanna see like the little kids dancing, the baton twirlers and floats and everything, so.
Yeah, like the armed forces parade was really nice, it didn't. But a lot of military, which was pretty cool, because that's what our area is.
And I try not to be a dictator, so we do have a board, so I.
And I.
No, and I'm not saying you are, but what I'm saying is I have no problem asking our board, hey, can we just get rid of him? Cause there is a weird animosity, I mean, it's nice to see the candidate that you agree with, but there's so much animosity right now, I have no problem just kind of taking it out. And just, cause there's really no reason, it's in June, so that's not season, so we'd be open to seeing if that's an option, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm very open to all the feedback when it comes to the parade specifically, because like I said, I did take it over just this year and I have so many ideas already on how to change it up and modernize it and everything, but any other feedback like that, I'm totally open to.
It's just
Especially,
Orchard's parade, so.
yeah, so what can we do better, and what ideas does everybody have?
I just have to say with fireworks, phenomenal this year, because I'm always outside of my building in Jersey, why on fire, and I loved it, not on Fourth
Yes,
personally,
that's
as a
purple.
business, it was just great, it was a great time, and I think you guys did a phenomenal job, and I know you guys raised all that money, I encourage you to definitely ask merchants
Yes.
and people,
Yes.
which, but it was great, and then the concerts, I actually have customers that come every Thursday and stay at Airbnb to watch your concerts, and they're from Aberdeen.
Nice.
So it's really neat to see that, because they're like, oh, we're here for the concert, there's a few they skipped because it wasn't their vibe. But I think, especially being their first year taking over from somebody who's been a long-standing Fathoms person, that's a huge transition. Going from what has always been done to what you guys are doing now, so I just congratulate you. As far as when you guys go out to other parades, I always am just curious, do people know where Port Orchard is? Because if you're representing Fathoms and you're going to Port Orchard parade, are you surprised, like?
All of our parade royalty, the other groups know us,
Yeah.
but some of the cities and stuff don't. Of course, my job outside of Port Orchard is do feasibility in our own Puget Sound. So wherever I go, I talk about Port Orchard and come to our concerts. So I always like to bring that into, but and we have plans to kind of, we want to duplicate this coming year for the parade to be similar to the concert, the fireworks order.
Oh,
We're
yes.
hoping to do 3 bands and food trucks after the parade's over. So, and potentially, you know, we gotta work with everyone, but maybe have some of the cars that were in the car show kind of park in the parking lot. Have kind of a quasi get meet up, announce who won in the parade. We got rained on this year, so they rained on our parade.
It did.
That was
So,
my question,
yes.
order better weather.
I worked on it, you know, I did the rain dance and then it showed, so.
But we also learned a lot, because again, this was our first time doing the parade, and so now we know,
Canopy.
regardless of whether we need canopies over the judging tables, we need like.
It
all of
was
these different
fine.
things. Oh my
We had a good time.
Yes. we
It
did.
wasn't,
Yes.
it wasn't cold,
Yes,
so it was
it was-
warm, right? But yeah, the idea of having the bands after the parade to kind of keep people downtown, have some different, like our little, we kind of had like a mini food court almost. For when we had the bands with the parade, but monopolizing on Bremerton always does their bridge blast on our parade day. So filling that gap, it's only a 2-hour gap really, so we could have a band there and now tell the parade winners and kind of keep people milling about downtown. And I know that the merchants really aren't open at that point,
They
but
might
if,
say, "Oh, no."
yeah,
Thank you.
and if we have more things going on to entice people to come from further away besides just the parade, you know, just saying, oh, there's a parade, okay, neat, oh, I don't want to, you know, unless you're local, I don't want to drive to that. But get the more festival, like I remember when I was in high school and it was like a whole week, from parade day to fireworks. I know that we won't even bring up a carnival, but the carnival was in the middle of that, which helped tie the 2 weekends together. But it was like, there was so much going on. And now I know, obviously, I know how much it costs to do these things, and I know what people are interested in and what seems to work well for other communities, other festival groups. And so trying to like beef it up, I guess, trying to have more than just a vendor show and a parade. Like, what's gonna get people to come in here? And that's where, you know, doing the bands, monopolizing on the fireworks show. The Great Ball Race was something we brought out last year. You know, kind of like, I don't know if you guys know Silverdale Rotary is, or lots of Rotaries have the duck race thingy that brings in thousands of people. And, you know, trying to do something similar, and just all the more activity we can have going on, the more of that whole festival vibe versus just a parade, the more we're gonna be able to get those people coming in. Well, that's the goal that we're working towards.
Oh,
Yeah. 1 minute.
yeah, really quickly, I'm excited to see what you guys do, to make it more modern and exciting.
Yes.
Getting a chance to be a part of it this year was, really exciting, but I'm really excited to see what you guys do next year.
And I just want to add, thank you so much for taking on Evans.
Yes.
I think you're gonna have a lot of fun. It's
Yes.
really, it has been a great organization.
Yes.
And I was checking, it must have been your old website, I don't know, I was gonna look for your new website. But I noticed that you go back to 2004 was when you started having parades, so that's 20 years.
It's actually the parades have been, I think, since the sixties.
Yeah, and just the
Really?
parade winners, we
We-
have a
yeah.
historical.
We missed
That's
COVID,
pretty
so we've had like
impressive.
50 in a row, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's,
And-
I think it was the 55th this last year.
I know we're short on time, so I'll just say the one last thing, this year was survival, next year was growth, so we want to,
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
you did a great
Yeah.
job.
thank you.
And our website, our new website isn't live yet, but
Okay,
as
I'll
you
keep
mentioned,
checking.
the reason,
Yes,
you couldn't tell if it was the parade's been around that way or what, because our website sucks, we'll be honest. It's outdated, it's terrible, but
Not
it's
anymore.
it's a nightmare, but the new one will be going live within the next couple of weeks, it's just about there.
thank you guys, so much, we appreciate it.
Thanks for coming in. Have a great day.
All
Yeah,
right.
it's so unique that we have a float.
It
Yeah,
is,
Fort Richard has a
yes,
float.
and they're,
One in the county, which is.
I think that's pretty cool.
they're going away, so it's pretty cool, yes. Thank you guys. Have a great day.
You too as well.
Freshening up her notes and then she'll be right in. This is gonna be POBSA.
I'm back and having you. Okay. Okay. Mhm. Right, right.
Good.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, everyone.
Let's see, so, here's what we're gonna do. We are, in 15 minutes. We do 10. And so then we're gonna reserve 5 minutes for Q and A. Anytime that's left over from you or us, we'll get back to you for wrap up and then we'll go from there. So I'll start off with some introduction. My name-
I didn't know I was making a presentation. I thought I was here to answer questions.
So you just tell us what you want about your application,
Okay,
and your organization. There's no set, and everybody's stating whatever they want in a different direction. So you just tell us the pertinent information that you think we need to know to make our decision,
perfect.
and we'll go from there. So I'm going to start off with introductions. My name is John Morrissey. I'm on city council as well as the chair of this committee.
Annette Stewart, and that's Smitty Scoop.
Lorraine Olson, this is House Bed and Breakfast, and your former neighbor.
Randy Wallace, city clerk, city staff.
Cody Clark, Uber Collins.
Sam.
Tell me what's your company with?
Smitty Scoop, it's a Airbnb
Maybe Scoop, nice, cool. Where is it? Nice to meet you.
at the end of the boulevard, it's yellow.
Little, like, just right here.
So I am president of the Port Orchard Bay Street Association. We are the local merchants association. I think of this as like the downtown core. We're really everyone. It's like the way I see it. I've been on the board of POPSA for 20 years. Well, 15 years, but I was around in 2002 and had a little hiatus. But I've been on the boards, I believe, for 15 straight years. Here as president, I've just been so excited about the direction that we've taken. Our organization is all about collaboration, bringing events and opportunities downtown to enhance tourism for local merchants. That's really who we just want the best for town and the best for the growth of our town. We kind of have that overarching goal of how do we get more people to find out more about Port Orchard. So when I read through the application questions, I could certainly read you. I assumed I don't need to read you my narrative, right? So I understand that what your focus is bringing people to spend the night. And
That really isn't a focus,
okay,
but it's part of it.
it is, well, it's number 2. And so it's hard to quantify. So at this, there certainly are platforms we could purchase that would count visitors, that would give us a really respective goal. But essentially, our goal is to create amazing events downtown. And I think in the last couple of years, you've seen that things have gotten elevated in the way that we host. So our night markets are really, I think, was our signature event. We just launched Mosquito Creek Fest this year that we expect to do an annual event. And then we're taking on this, the previously Festival Lights and Chimes and turning that into what we're calling Holiday on May. And it's really all a coalition. So in looking at 2025, we're really kind of projecting that we have these kind of 4 or 5 key large events. And then all of the stuff that we're doing is to bring people to downtown and to market to tourists. And then like all organizations, we've been tweaking, do we do it paper? Do we do social media? How much do we do here? And in the last couple of years, our data that we're getting, the analytics that we get from our website and the social media platforms are just off the charts. So looking at that kind of data is amazing. Just watching ourselves kind of steadily grow as we've changed our focus. I am super excited about the marketing samples that you got in your packet. And then I put 4 attached marketing samples, but we can have 5. So I reached out and got, this is our Holiday on the Bay flyer that shows the sponsor as well that we have just kind of started with. We have a list of probably 20 or 30, 20. I shouldn't ask the committee member. We have a list of, I would say, 15 to 20 people that are organizations that have contributed financial support to become sponsors for this holiday, for the Christmas event for Port Orchard, and kind of raise it. So in our application, you asked us our top 3 funding priorities. And for me, I see that as we host great events to attract people to downtown. We want to implement outreach and tourism marketing to attract more people regionally as well as kind of statewide. When you look at our website statistics, we have quite a draw. And then we have these kind of key events. In the application, it said if you don't get all the money, will your event still happen? And yes, it will. No matter whether we get this, we expect to get some lodging tax because we always have, or but at the same time, we have a really nice mix with sponsorships. We've raised over $20,000 for this Holiday on the Bay. We apply for the Kitsap community grants. And if we ever came across other funding opportunities, we would take advantage of that as well. I think in general, what our ask is this year is this. That's our marketing types, was this 34,000, I don't have my cover page, 34,000 essentially.
722.
And I believe that's really within the same pattern that we have presented with through the years. It's always a different president, they may reign for 1 to 3 years, but the majority of our ask is really about marketing and tourism marketing to help continue to do the promotions that we're doing. And then we've got event operations. That's how I see it for 2025. Any questions for me? Do you want to look at any details or that things that I've projected? I am the author of the narrative, so at least I can answer those. And I have a detailed budget if you have more numbers or anything like that.
Did you ask for lodging tax? County or anything?
That's a really great question. I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't think you did, because I did and
I
saw
don't-
the
I
meeting.
don't know if we ever have. We've gotten money from Visit Kitsap. I think they've like been sponsors of things, but yeah, that's a great question. I don't think so. Certainly not this year. Mhm. I wasn't asked to write the narrative. I'll take the presentation.
Other questions for Hafsa?
Reading through, I can hardly wait to see what you guys are gonna do next year. I mean, you just do some really wonderful activities all year. And I love that you're taking a turn towards historical, taking advantage, because we have such a rich history here, and to build on that, I think people really enjoy that.
Yeah, I really see that as the Carlisle. In the past, people bubble in and bubble out, and they're like, who are you and where's our mascot and what are we doing? And we need a thing, and everybody's always analyzing their stuff. But when we sat down and said, who are we? What are we good for? What can we make Port Orchard be? That an event would be all about Port Orchard, like the Paulsboro has Viking Fest and the Silverado has Whaling Days. That was where the idea of the Mosquito Fleet Fest was born, because we've got the Carlisle, this beautiful old historical boat that pops in and out of our harbor multiple times a day. That is really our icon of who we are. And that's where we've kind of shifted. And this year we themed all of our events to be maritime themed. So even Ladies Night Out was anchors away. So you could see the thread through our marketing materials. Yeah. Thank
I
you.
just have a couple of questions.
Yeah.
We got,
we're good.
3 minutes, yep.
3 minutes, okay, these are quick. So I noticed that you said you had a new website or you rebranded. I was just a little confused.
Okay.
Rebranding Port
Well,
Orchard Waterfront?
So we have always been Port Orchard Bay Street Association, people say POPSA. Because that's just an acronym, nobody knows what that means. So we bought a website a year ago and we started this branding of Port Orchard Waterfront. Because when people are doing searches to travel, they're not looking for the Bay Street Association, they're looking for Port Orchard downtown waterfront activities. So that's where that idea was, and we believe that We are stepping towards becoming a Main Street organization in the next several years. So likely next year you will see a move to our name change to become Port Orchard Waterfront Alliance. Because we're really allies and we're bringing in partners in here. It's not just the downtown merchants, it's business owners and citizens and all kinds of people that care about the vibrant, thriving business core.
And then you mentioned Love Kitsap. What is Love Kitsap?
Love Kitsap is another organization that is promoting Kitsap. So I think they're new this year, and it's Josh and Sarah Johnson that are leading that. And I believe, and please, this is just hearsay, but I believe there's been some challenges with the Visitor Convention Bureau. It's a thing.
We'll just move
There's
on
been
from
some
that.
leadership changes. So this is an organization that has picked up some of this, like shop, dine, play, Kitsap, cool.
Yeah, they have some great things on I just didn't know who they were.
Yeah,
But Visit Kitsap is coming up.
and they've got a new leader and, so,
Good.
yeah,
Thank you.
yeah.
Any other questions for Monica?
We appreciate.
I'm gonna jump in on one. She touched briefly, and I have a ton of knowledge around Main Street. Why is Main Street important to your organization?
Why is it important to our organization? So well, first of all, I believe that the Bay Street Association is important to town because we unify the merchants and building owners, and we kind of have a collective finger on the pulse of what's happening with the city. Main Street is a national movement towards sustaining and supporting historic downtown cores. And the idea is that without a thriving center, we got a dying town. So for us, we've actually looked at Main Street for probably 10 years ago, had somebody come in, and then it just seemed too big. So John made it part of his pitch for his council position to help kind of bring Main Street to Port Orchard. We feel like it's natural for us as an organization to become that. We've been a bunch of merchants with a shoestring budget holding it all together for 20 years. And we've now elevated our reach, and the public has elevated their expectations. If you look at what happened with Christmas last year, we are notching it up, but we have to play within $50,000 budget, be a nonprofit and to not get taxed. And so we've been playing small. And with a Main Street organization, it would open up funding of up to $250,000 a year if we could collect it or fundraise for it. It would give us a part-time, possibly staff person thinking about social media. I mean, all of us are business owners, barely holding it together with multiple jobs and too many things to do. So I guess next step would be to take the Waterfront Alliance to the next level, but also to help elevate our whole town. It gives business owners and building owners more resources from other towns that have done just like we've done. It's economic revitalization and growing pains, right?
Thank you, Monica. We
Thank
appreciate
you.
your time.
Thank you so much. Appreciate everything you do.
Gosh, and I appreciate you guys sitting in on this committee and making the tough choices. I'm sure everybody's got something cool. We have lots of really great events and people and stuff, and I know we all want a piece of it. So thanks for being tie doors.
Bye-bye, thank you.
Okay, next up,
Yeah, do you want me to sit over there?
that's up to you. I don't.
Okay, I'm gonna stay here.
Okay.
And it's not in any particular order.
Okay.
Are you doing separate presentations or
I'll
you?
probably just loop them all into
Okay.
one.
Perfect.
I put in 2 different applications. And
Yeah, well, I'll just start it out like I do everybody else. I think we can skip introductions, and you obviously know the format. I will just briefly say, I would give Cody some background. Cody did reach out to me prior to submitting to find out whether or not he should split these. I said, do as you please, right? I think we understand. So if it's better for you to split them or not, so that direction came directly. I will turn over the time to you, sir.
So the South Kitsap Chamber of Commerce, has been around since 1890. We've been around for a really, really long time. And in that, it's been really important, to help build community, help bring people here, to be the place that people call and ask those questions. They, when people come out of town, they stop by and get maps. They work to promote our community, not just here, but outside of our community. I have been executive director for just about 7 months. And it has been 7 months of it's been 7 months of trying to outreach more into the community, whether it's here or throughout Kitsap or even outside of Kitsap. One thing that I'm really passionate about is my hometown. I've been a Kitsap resident my entire life. You know, I remember coming downtown for the farmers market every Saturday with my mom. I've been here forever and I want to bring people here. I love Port Orchard. And so the chamber has 4 directions in which we're going for 2025. Economic development, workforce development, membership, and community engagement. And those 4 things are going to be really vital to bringing people to South Kitsap as a whole, but Port Orchard as well. I put in for 2 different applications, one for operations of our visitor center and one for events. Our visitor center is an opportunity for people to come and receive the information they need about our community. I get phone calls on a daily basis from people outside of Port Orchard, outside of South Kitsap, asking for event information, asking for the different things that are going on, Airbnbs, hotels. Our job is to be that informational hub and then being able to promote the other things that are happening in town and partnering with other organizations like POPSA and the Farmers Market and all of these different organizations to help bring people from out of town here. And so for the operations of our visitor center, we put in for $34,638.18. Again, it's instrumental in helping us be able to make sure that everyone knows what's going on in our town, and helping give those resources to other people as they're coming here and promoting other organizations as they're wanting information about Port Orchard. Again, I get phone calls, emails daily from people from out of town wanting information. We got a phone call. I think one of the coolest things that's happened is we got a phone call from a woman out of state. In fact, she was in California. She called about our seagull calling contest because we are the only one in the world except for Belgium, I think. Yes. So the cool thing about that is that we've been featured on, I think it was Jimmy Kimmel a few years ago because of that. And her daughter saw a video online about seagull calling contest. She called us, and when she called, she told us where she was from, that her and her daughter were going to fly here specifically for a mosquito fleet and the seagull calling contest. And we've been seeing a lot of growth in the events that we've done, which I will start talking about events now. Our chamber has not always been known for doing events, and I certainly don't want to be a chamber that just does events, but I see the value in bringing people here. I did name a couple of our events that we're planning for 2025. Of course, we're going to do cornhole again. That was the most successful. 2024 was the most successful cornhole tournament that we held. We raised $5,000 in sponsorship, which is exponentially more than what we've ever had. And then on top of that, we were able to bring more people in. We had more people watching this year than ever before as well. The opportunity to do different preliminary tournaments throughout the city and throughout South Kitsap is gonna be really important to work with and celebrate small businesses. And so we're excited about that. The other thing that we're excited about is we're gonna bring Rocky Horror Picture Show back to Port Orchard. What used to be Dragonfly and then the theater before that, they did Rocky Horror at midnight once a month. And it was very well attended. I've been a few times in my life. It was sold out every time. But this year is the 50th year anniversary, or 2025 is the 50-year anniversary of Rocky Horror. We are in talks of partnering with another local organization and making this celebration really exciting. We have the opportunity to promote that from outside of Kitsap, such as Crypticon, which is a horror movie convention in that happens in Pierce County, the Washington Horror Convention as well. Rocky Horror Picture Show is huge at both of those things. The last 3 years at Crypticon, there's been there's been showings and live plays of Rocky Horror, and so having the opportunity to get that out there as soon as we can is going to be really exciting to help bring people here. And with those two events, working with our Airbnbs, working with our hotels, and figuring out how we can work together to keep people here. I think that's all of the information I had planned to say. I said it fast. Any questions? I'm sure there is.
I have a couple.
Okay.
So where are you gonna show this Rocky Horror? This is gonna be, I see you have Space Turtle, but where is that at?
So right now, we're still in the talks with someone specific. I don't want to say that yet, just in case.
But it's in this town?
Yes, it is here. Yeah.
Okay.
And there's an entertainment aspect involved with that as well.
And because I've gone to it, but isn't it something that's shown at midnight?
It is. We're gonna have two showings. Yeah. So we're gonna have one earlier in the night and then one later on, but then a happy hour in between.
Okay.
Yeah.
I went to the late
Yeah.
Rocky Horror Show and I about scared myself walking home that night.
I'm really excited because it's a unique opportunity to bring people here.
Oh, it's great. It's just great. People just love it. I have some questions about reporting. I know you're new, Cody,
Yes.
and this, I just thought I'd ask you if you could, the reporting status, you kind of gave us a lot of generalizations without being specific on that.
Okay.
Is there just not that data available right now for you?
There has been I've had a really hard time finding data, and so that is one of the things that my assistant and I are going to make sure we have more accurate data this year, because it's hard to find.
And that happens in a transition too.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. That's a perfect answer. And then I was wondering about, and I apologize for not knowing, but do you have it, so you're gonna be up on Bethel?
Yes,
And
we're
are
already
you gonna
there.
have a kiosk or something?
So,
there?
yeah, so we do have two other community kiosks. We have one in the public market, and then we also have another one in the Town Square Mall. And so it's an opportunity to showcase what's going on. People can pick up information about other local businesses, events. We have brand new maps that we just had printed of Port Orchard and South Kitsap there. Again, it's an opportunity to see what's going on.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Perfect, thanks. And then thank you for being in this role. We have a lot of new leaders in our community.
Yeah.
I really appreciate you, Cody.
Thank
You
you.
started in March, I think it was.
End of February, yeah, it was February 28th.
So you're doing really well. You've been probably running ever since you got in there.
Yes, it has
Well, thank
been
you.
7 months of chaos and goodness. I love it. So,
Thank you for doing it.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate that.
How's your new office?
I want to tell you so much how good it is to go to work every day and have pride in where we're at, and knowing that when people come to our office and they get our maps or they get the information about events and businesses, we have pride where we're at. It represents the direction the chamber is going. It took a lot of time and energy to get there from my board, but then also Jacqueline and I spent 2.5 weeks moving, and we are incredibly proud of how professional the office space looks. We're still not completely unpacked, but I believe that our office space is going to help elevate the chamber's game.
What question?
I figured you did.
So I didn't see any marketing examples in your submission.
Yes,
Okay.
so we are in the process of essentially what kind of rebranding. You know, our logo is staying the same, but how we are marketing as far as our different flyers, what we're gonna do are gonna be very different what they have been. And that's something that's just taken a lot of time, and we're still working on. I will say other marketing opportunities. We've taken advantage of Spotify ads this year. We had a lot of we had a lot of playthroughs in those ads. We're also working on figuring out what how realistic a billboard will be for some of our events throughout here. But then also looking at radio ads as well. The hope is to advertise most of our events between 50 and 100 miles in a 50 to 100 mile radius. So, yeah.
And then, talk to me a little bit about, your events, because, I don't think we went into enough detail around, ongoing events.
Yes, so that's the hard part. Our chamber has not had a ton of ongoing events. Cornhole has been kind of the ongoing event for us. Last year we brought back the Seagull Calling Contest, and we had a couple hundred people around us. It was absolutely amazing. Fathoms was huge. It's a partner, or not Fathoms. POPSA was a huge partner in that, and partnering to do that during Mosquito Fleet. It was a great opportunity to bring that back. We're going to be doing that again. We have the opportunity really to do new events that can become ongoing, because our chamber just hasn't done a ton of ongoing events. We're working on doing a beer event here in South Kitsap, specifically working with local breweries and coffee shops. We want to do a coffee beer event. That is something that eventually we will we want to make happen ongoing. Yeah.
And then do you do any accounting, because you run,
Yes.
do you do delineation between your tourism activities and your chamber related activities?
So I personally have not done any of our accounting in the 7 months I've been here, and part of that is I am still learning my job. I know that the way that everything is split up is there should be a line item specifically for tourism, and then, you know, everything else. So, yeah.
So I'm hearing,
I
based off of what I saw,
yeah.
we don't have that delineated somewhere, okay.
And when they put in, their, reimbursements, it is separated in their audit reports.
Yes.
They don't get separated, so you see that separately.
Committee, any other questions for the chamber of commerce?
Thank you very, very much.
I think you're doing a great job.
And I love your enthusiasm.
I appreciate that. It's been 7 months of rebuilding, as well as rebuilding and re-engaging, as well as improving what we already do. And so I think the drive and energy to bring people here comes from the fact that we're rebuilding relationships, that we're re-engaging relationships. Our chamber is growing. We've had 30-ish new members since I've joined. We are working to re-engage all of the members that are members that also aren't really participating in what we're doing, and so there's a lot of movement happening. We're really excited about that. We too just launched a new website on Friday last week, which I think better represents our community. It's not chaos like it was. And so we're really excited about what's coming and the direction the chamber's going in. Thank you.
Anything else for Cody?
I'm good.
Thank you, Sue. Okay, looks like we've got a little bit of time, so if you need to get up, stretch your legs, use the restroom, we've got 9-10 minutes here before we have our done.
Great, thank you. Are we still recording?
Yeah, we are still recording. Right on through the.
I can take a break if it's, I want to discuss non-lodging tax stuff.
No, I don't think I thought it's just we thought about this.
Specifically asked for the last spot, so just because of their schedule, so otherwise I would have
Happens.
loved to have gotten you guys out a little earlier, but we'll see.
So who's next?
We're waiting for the Saints Car Club, which typically is VPs.
And then the Mustang Club and then Lady Washington?
Lady Washington is not able to attend. They have, auditor coming, so they are all about the auditor today.
And they are here, they're just not here.
Oh, okay, so yeah, we can see if they're ready, if we wanna start this.
Limit.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll have another
She gets-
larger break.
Okay.
Because we have 15 minutes in.
Yeah, and she may come earlier, we don't know, but.
If you haven't seen our new space, I invite all of you.
I haven't now.
So we are up on Bethel, right behind Fairway, which is right in front of what used to be the Victoria Tea Room.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it's the brand new land title bit. Yeah, it
What
is.
side of the building? Because I went to there.
So they're on the far right. And then Sound Sport and Spine is the far left, and we're right.
You took the middle
Yeah,
spot?
yeah. It's not any bigger than our last spot, but it is definitely,
Because when they opened last year, they had the whole building.
yes,
Okay.
Yes,
So I haven't
so-
been over to see.
yeah,
any of that change.
yeah, so, when Sound Sport and Spine moved in, and when they put in their permitting and everything, they realized they didn't need that whole half. And so we were able to get that little office space, which is kind of perfect for us. The amount of storage in it is phenomenal compared to our last location. We're also just, like, again, it's new, right? It's,
Do people still find you for
Yes.
visitor center?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
okay.
yeah, we still have, I mean, we still have people coming in, and asking for maps and stuff. The nice part is we have been able to, since moving, we've got to go through all of our stuff and see what's old. Because so much of our print material is, outdated, which, they say the minute something's printed, it's outdated, but, we're excited to have new updated information for everybody, not, things that have been, 10 years old. So, yeah, it's really exciting. It's really exciting.
Nice.
Yeah, it's also very strange. I was not planning on. They said you wait a year before you make any kind of real change, and I got hired and my board was like, hey, guess what? We want all of this stuff changed now. I was like,
It smells like fresh paint in there, and then there's a big hole in the ceiling, so I hope nobody had just called a butt up there.
Yeah, they've been working on the, so they probably didn't paint it, and they're working on the,
Smells good in there.
ADA access doors. I think we're getting doors.
Nice, nice.
Well, like, everything looks so
When you buy
nice.
new car-
They should put a sign if they're working in it, so hopefully the first time.
It's a huge hole up there, and I thought,
Right.
God, this would be just climb up there.
Yeah, so they're probably working on the electrical part of it.
Oh, yes, that's right, yeah, no, this,
That's what I was told, I don't know if that's a rumor or true.
that's fun, that's exciting. That's glorious for us.
Things you learn about how the inner workings of that happen after that, right? It's just prevailing wage and among other things that just push all those things. I don't know. Does look nice.
When are you guys expecting everything to be like complete?
I think end of the year.
Okay.
Right, City Hall
I
construction,
believe we were told.
That's the last
meeting,
heard,
it-
but-
It's going to bleed into next year.
probably.
Cause I also remember hearing at one point that it's gonna be like end of October, and so I would just ask.
I think it was interior.
Okay,
We've also
Here.
like carpet
Siding.
Oh, for
interior
sure,
was
yeah.
not something that was in the original scope, so some of it has changed.
No, of course.
So to be a little fair there.
Yeah.
Not all apples to apples, but.
no,
But the upgrades have been great. I mean, it's just beautiful, but
Yeah.
coming in downstairs and the entry area there is just so much easier to access people and it's very nice.
I got my shit back yesterday. I
uh,
walked it up the hill, I was like, you guys are gonna walk that?
Wow, they did.
They did. Last
I like
time
where they
got
have it now. It's
I like
really
it
nice.
too, it's
Yeah.
a centerpiece, which
Yeah.
it should be.
Exactly, yeah,
is that downstairs?
yeah.
You know, what we have, well, we have a minute here, Keith, is let's talk about our next meeting.
Ooh, yeah.
Great,
So we had originally put the date down on November 20th.
yes,
I think that works, right? I have no problem with that. The reason why, the only consternation I had last time is that, it doesn't leave a bunch of time, to back and forth with council if there's anything too back and forth. I was worried about our submissions. I don't think, like I said, we got about 30% above, or I guess it's not 30%, but 60% above what we actually have. So there's a couple of different ways to get that, but just in case, because there's only, I think, one true business meeting in December for council. So are there two?
We,
Do we get rid of the study session?
correct. and make it a
Okay, so they are two. Perfect. Okay,
Yeah.
so then I have no reservation
Not that it's
about.
a ton of time.
Because so the idea in, on the 20th is, we will finalize our recommendations to council. Know that, they can push work back to us and they can override us. That is part of what could happen. But we're looking at the 20th. I don't think we're going to need.
I'm sorry, I had it
Wait.
13.
I was gonna say, cause when we planned that meeting, we had talked about how, yeah,
We have a community partners meeting that day.
Oh, did I write down the wrong date?
I'm looking at my calendar
I
too.
think I have the 20th.
I am.
Because we said the 30th and the 20th.
Yeah, I still have my notes from our last meeting of deliberation.
What time are we talking?
We have. it.
Okay.
So that's what we're going to talk about, if there's the 20th work in a capacity.
After 1 o'clock.
Yep, I have no,
Okay.
I also think that because of what I've seen already and what I've seen already, I don't know that we're gonna need a ton of time. An hour, 2 max, is what I'm going to ask to be scheduled, so.
And then this room will have a land use committee. Well, are you on the land use committee? No, okay. I don't know if they're gonna meet in person or not, but that's at 4:30, so we would need to be out by 4, so we got 2 hours to start at 1. Which typically it's been an hour, but sometimes it's been 5 hours.
Just,
Is it on a Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday, okay, perfect.
Another Wednesday.
Okay. That's perfect.
1 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would one work for everybody?
Yeah.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, we're in back meetings up there. Yeah, we can hang out all day.
Pack us lunch.
Perfect.
All right, are you ready for me to go bring the next contestant?
So it was 1 o'clock.
1 o'clock, I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay, Jacqueline uses her desk calendar, and I'm like, why not on your phone? She was like, I don't have my work email on my phone, and I said, that was smart for you, because I can't do that.
You heard a motion?
Yep,
It manages both my calendar and my to-do list with AI. Based off of what I plug in the importance, so it can fill in when I have blank time, it will fill in a task for me to do in that time, so.
Hello.
Greetings, come on in, have a seat. Okay. Well, welcome. Today's format, we're gonna give you about 10 minutes to give you a little rundown, give us a little rundown of what you're looking for from LTAC and anything you want to tell us about the Saints Car Club. And then we're gonna save 5 minutes for a little question and answer. Anything we don't use, we'll give back to you. But that's kind of where we're gonna go today, if that's okay. We'll start with some introductions. My name is John Morrissey. I'm on city council here, and I serve as chair of this committee.
And that's Stuart.
Yeah, Lorraine Olson with Mrs. House Bed and Breakfast.
Brandy Wallace, city clerk, city staff.
Tony Clark, executive director of the South Kitsap Chamber of Commerce.
Samantha Smith, Tosta, Porter Trade Association.
Oh, and I'm Bill Hubble. And Chief Wishness. We are both saints. We belong to the saints. Of course, the Saints were a 501c nonprofit. And we'd like to do things for the community with our money that we receive from our show. We have probably one of the top 10 car shows in the Northwest that we put on right down here in on Main Street in the parking area. And we are we also have a tongue-tied presenter today.
All right, very important.
I better get the notes out. Our club is about 60 years old. We've been here a long time. Some of the members joined as kids in junior high, faking their age to get the it's our 37th year of putting on a show as the current Saints. The first ones, we didn't have shows because we're just a car club with a bunch of kids drinking and having fun. Now we've gotten older and we like to do community events. We bring in to Port Orchard on Sunday of our show, approximately 10 to 13,000 spectators, and they love it. And the businesses downtown, I think, enjoy our show on Sunday. It's I've been told by several that it is the best day for business that they have. Take it as you want, but they do make a good bunch of money. And in all the restaurants, the lines, there's 20, 30 people deep. So we get like 500 hot rods that come into the show. They're put our profits back into the community. We give right around $6,000 to different groups in Port Orchard. One of them is we give $1,500 to a high school student who wants to continue his education in automotive repair and backpacks for kids. That's $500. The SK Kitchen, There's another 5. Rainbow and DeVillay, they get $500 each. Friends of the Library. And this year we put in our sound man. His son was had muscular dystrophy and he passed last year, so we gave him $300 for that charity. Christian Life Center, they have a car show, which you have to give to the hot rodders also. So we gave them $300. The Hot Rod Hall of Fame, they get $500. The Peeleys are gonna get money this year. $500, so we're right at about $5,000, $6,000 that we put out. Local businesses for our vendors are as much as we can. Nobody here has Santa cans. that many Santa cans. Bobby Miller gets that septic. I tried to get him and he doesn't have enough, so that's that. So we try to provide a safe, family friendly, free and all-inclusive summer activity in Port Orchard. We're requesting $10,000 this year. And to hold our event, and then it'll all go back into the community eventually. That's the end of my area.
And just to add on that a little bit, one of the other things we do give the helpline. Money plus also collect food for them at the show. It was big then. And then our ask this year also we've gotten $5,000 in the past and stuff, but this year the city's gonna be, sounds like they're gonna be putting more responsibility on us. That's gonna cost us, a lot of money. They're gonna have, looks like they'll be asking for traffic control for us to supply all that this year instead of that. And so our prices between just the normal economy has gone up and what it costs to produce the show, the new ask for the city. So that's why we've kind of upped our ask this year a little bit too.
Questions for the Saints?
So I just wanna, so you're asking $10,000 to put on your show. But that isn't, but you were talking about giving away all this money. Is that part of what you're asking from us? So you can get, okay.
No,
I just want to
we'll get that from our entry fees and sponsors
Okay.
and vendors, so yes. No, we're not gonna take your away.
This, I didn't think so, but I just wanted to put it out there, so.
Yeah, and then the $10,000 too, it costs us considerably more to put the show on. That's just a percentage of what it costs. Show cost of the show is probably up around 20 or so to actually produce the show.
How many people do you think attend your event every year?
Oh, over 10,000, 10 to 13,000. That's and that's rough, you can't.
Yeah.
There's no way to count it, but the place is full.
Yeah.
And that's from Puget Sound. We get people from Oregon, Idaho. We bring people from Canada to come down for our show, bring their cars down from Canada for the show. So it's a pretty well-known show. It's, we do bring a lot of people in from around the area, different areas and stuff. Some stay with relatives and friends, some, stay in the hotels, local hotels. So it's a pretty good show.
And even Hot Rod Fred from Beaverton, Oregon comes out.
How do you do your marketing? What's your reach for the marketing? Advertising your show?
We just put flyers out.
We have flyers, we have postcards that get sent out, the Kitsap Sun, Port Orchard Independent. There's different magazines that go out around Puget Sound area also that we advertise in. So it's mostly just advertising and word of mouth, that's how the marketing goes.
We've been here 36 years doing this show. The word is out, okay? And we also, when we go to car shows, I'll always take a big 60 or 70 pamphlets or flyers, and I just walk around and put them in cars.
And then in terms of reporting, we're trying to collect information and data about, the numbers of people that come to town. Do you guys have a way, and that's something that everybody's trying to figure out how to do. Do you have any ideas or thoughts about how you would do that for the people that you attract?
It's mostly estimating by what we can see and
Mhm.
by the number of cars that are registered, that's really our only number is we can come up with, and you figure. So we're normally over 500 cars every year, and you figure there's at least 2 people in every car. And then all the spectators that come along with them, so there's no real way to keep track. You get an accurate number, so it's mostly estimating what we can see. And I mean, the place, if you walk around here, I mean, it's crowded, it's packed, it's.
Well, it's packed all the way up to the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah, so,
It's great.
It's kind of like, say, it's an estimate, we haven't figured out a way to get an accurate count on it, it's, it's like, okay, yeah, there's a lot of here. That's it.
It's hard, it really
Yeah.
is.
Tell us a little about how you partner with the businesses downtown.
Well, we have a very active 84-year-old senior member who has been in the community for years, and he always hits these people up every year. He gets us probably 60-70% of our sponsors, and the guys in the club sponsor cars, sponsor trophies. That's what they sponsor, is a trophy, not get their name, and their name is on the trophy. You know what I mean? And
I have 5 minutes for question and answering.
they're stumped.
I can say as a business owner, I appreciate the car show. It's something that is plug and play. I just have to open my doors and you guys bring the first group of people. There's other events that happen, but they're very specific. And the car show, I love that, Main Street is now just cars. It, feels so much, it feels good. I feel like it really highlights our town. But it's also nice to know that it's so well done, so professionally done. And as a business owner, like I said, I don't have to do any promoting of it. I can do, but there's just already so many people. So it's been nice to really experience that.
We like to get, we have our Mark, our former president, he hits all the businesses.
Yeah.
And he does a good job there.
I mean, the chamber gets phone calls, I mean, year round about your car show. I mean, I started in February, and on my first day, I think we had 2 or 3 specifically asking about when your car show is. So it definitely has value. You can see how many people are here. Yeah.
Do you have information down there about it?
I normally do. I don't have that for next year.
Well, we won't be putting that up till February or
Yeah.
March, something like that.
Any other questions for Saints Car Club?
Not me. I'm just so grateful that you have it in downtown Port Orchard. Thank you very, very much.
Well, we'd like to have it down here for a long time.
Good.
What's really been great for us is the addition now of the last 2 years now, we've been able to have Main Street, which really.
Oh, yes.
The feedback from the car people,
Yeah,
they love, they always like the waterfront, but now with the addition of that, everything, can we park up on the street? Well, first come, first served, that's really a plus for them to be able to park down Main Street.
It is, it just fills up the town, just like you were saying, it's just really an extra special thing, so thank you.
So, and where's your business if it gets all the way to yours?
I'm up here on Kitsap Street, just right up.
Oh,
here on the corner.
really?
We have a bed and breakfast in one of those
Oh,
old
okay.
houses around here.
Do you get people from the show?
I do. Mhm. And if they're not, they go because they're here. They move their car, they'll never get their parking place back.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, fellas. We
Okay,
appreciate
thank
it.
you.
Thank you very much.
So this is our free time, another break, we can see for the next one to come. Maybe 3:35, so yeah, a little bit longer of a break this time.
Yes, 3 calls in a minute. Fucking that.
Oh, there you go.
So is there anything that you guys need from me, from our next meeting as far as, materials, resources, documents? I thought that there was some conversation about rating sheets, but I don't know if that was a go. Historical data, like, previous requests versus actual allocation. I think I have the last 10, 15 years of that stuff.
That's really helpful.
I was gonna say, I think that'll be helpful.
Yeah, I mean, if you just,
On a spreadsheet.
and you already have it, yeah, so the only thing I put together for my stuff this year, what was this year's ask? What was their ask last year and what did they receive?
And I have that. for the
And
last
maybe if
10
I had,
years.
okay, I don't know that I,
Yeah.
yeah, if you want 10 years, I don't need 10 years.
I mean, that information would just be helpful for me anyway, but I mean,
So it's a little convoluted because, we split out
yes,
and then sometimes we put it together.
Yes.
and So, but the data's all there.
Yeah.
Like, you can, yeah, it's pretty obvious of
yeah,
what they're asking for. So
and I will admit, like with my application this year, I tried really hard to just keep it as it was last year. I mean, all of that same information, just because it makes my life easier right now. So,
And then at the bottom of the spreadsheet, it'll have the historical allocations as well. So you'll see 75, 78, 100, 125. You'll see that.
That would be the only thing I think I would request. Like I said, I started my own.
And I'll have an Excel spreadsheet and you guys throw out numbers and I'll have it displayed on the screen and you guys can see it, real live numbers.
Because when do they have to return for reimbursement? So like last year, I know we gave it like Washington at 5, but I don't know if they ever used it.
They did.
Oh, they did.
They just submitted their request a couple weeks ago.
When do they have to have
I
it?
think they did.
Or is it a couple months into the following year that they have to return receipts? I don't understand that part of the process.
So it is, they have to use it or lose it in 2025. So they have until January 1st till December 31st
Okay.
to actually use the funds, but they have until, I believe it's the second week in January to get those
Just 2
reimbursements.
weeks to know.
Because the city has to close out their books.
Yeah.
And honestly, there's a handful of organizations that will literally wait until December to turn in all of their receipts. And we get behind because it's just an E.
Yeah.
And
is the chamber one of them?
you are, but you aren't. Yours is, some of them are very well. And some of them are just sheets of paper just thrown and we have to go through and assemble them and decide. It's gotten better over the years. But a handful of organizations just wait to the end, and of course, they're the bigger ones. And we did try to we put something in the contract that says, after your event, you need to submit reimbursement.
Within 90 days.
Yeah.
Yep.
And we
It's
still.
not been doing it.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just, everybody's busy, I get it. And it's just.
For the record, I have
We
been,
complain and whine, but we get it done.
I've been trying to make sure that I stick to that 90 days with mine, so.
I appreciate that. So, yeah, so, and we check all the reimbursements to make sure that they're, meet the letter of the definition. And no matter what side we wear meaning my interpretation, we always give the reasoning. And seems to make sense.
It's been really helpful working with Eugene, because
Think about that.
4 hours.
I have,
Oh, I should have given you guys passes,
Yeah,
darn it.
sorry, I'm only 20 minutes.
It looks good.
You guys wanna
wait,
I was gonna pull in a lot, but it was
I parked,
You have to get here at 7:50.
really, I just figured,
When you start at 8.
I know a person I can hand it to, this thing, hey.
I try, but, not all of me.
Got it.
I've seen a few lately and I'm like, I'm okay with it, because as a business owner, I'm like, I'm just happy to have somebody out there doing it.
Go.
Training.
I'll make sure that I have those ready to go on November 20th. I just.
She does, no, she'll even send them, well, no, you. yeah, you
Normally I would
send
send Janine an email to print them out and give them to you guys and she's out today. So, well, she's telling me, but I'll make sure they're ready on the 20th.
Just gonna say, I got an email from her this morning, so.
Telemeeting, yeah. Yeah, so I think we'll have everything lined up for the 20th. I'll get you that spreadsheet, and I'll actually send that out this week, so you guys have it, some time to digest it. And then we did get an email from the car club that is up on Mitchell, the Christian Life Center, that they just didn't have enough time to get the numbers together with his team to submit the application this year, so he may do it next year. So, and I always send it out to past participants, we put it in the paper. And then if I know of any other organizations that might benefit from it, or that can use it, I send it to them as well, so it's not just submitted to the applicants, so sometimes we get new ones, sometimes we don't.
Did we have more applicants this year than last year?
No.
How many did we have last year?
I believe it's the same amount.
Okay.
We have one less this year, and that is the Sydney Museum.
Oh,
yeah.
They decided not to submit.
interesting.
They're just gonna focus the efforts more on POPSA than.
It'd just be nice to somehow make the numbers realistic, because whenever anybody's doing it, how do you realistically say how many people
Yeah.
you got? And so it's almost asking for, I don't wanna say dishonesty,
No,
but
for
we're
sure.
trying to estimate and be
Yeah,
as real as possible.
Yeah.
Quantitative information, which is hard to get.
yeah, that's been the hard part with reporting. I mean, I had to, what was it? Was it in March that we had to do
I think they
reporting?
typically do around March.
And for me, especially not being at the chamber.
30 days into it.
Yeah, I'm like,
what
I don't
did we do
know.
last year?
Not only that, but I have no, like, I see the numbers that were estimated. But
They're just guesstimations.
I had a really hard time with that, for the record.
It's tough.
We're gonna try really hard to keep everything as accurate as possible.
For the Saints, it's, even though it's hard, but it's
Yeah.
somewhat easy because they have, if anytime that you have registration fees or even the monthly
Exactly,
fees, right?
yeah,
They have to, you know, you
Yes.
put your address where you're at, so
Yeah.
the tracking mechanism
Yes.
is a lot easier.
Yes.
It's not gonna count for everything, but at least they have a baseline,
yeah,
you
that's
know?
what
For the others,
we,
it's a lot harder.
that's what we did with Cornwall and being able to, you know, figure out who's coming from where. Yeah, it's interesting, that's for sure.
And people get creative and they try to do prizes and entries and, you know, but there's a lot of people that just don't.
That's
share
what we
their
do in the
information.
markets. is
They
we're
do
like,
so.
hey, just give us your zip code and you can enter.
The-
A lot of people don't like doing that though.
Yeah,
I
they
know,
don't.
they don't.
Like whenever we've asked for that information, like, oh, well, can you know, just give us your zip code, like, where are you from? And like, I'm not giving you any of my information, like.
I can
oh,
contact you with your zip code.
yeah, but some people are,
And we struggled with Chimes Alliance trying to justify all of that and luckily there's a few years where we gathered numbers. We used to apply for flooding tax funds and we've gone away from that. But when I was doing it, luckily they had a boat show or the lights, the boats lights, can't remember. I don't remember who puts it on, but it's part of the Port of Bremerton. And so they do the lights and they collected zip codes, so we were able to gather their data to help support Chimes Alliance, so, but it was a stretch. Okay, let me see if they are here. Unless she was coming from another work.
tomorrow is my holiday. Don't be surprised if I'm wearing a border t-shirt.
Oh. I'm ready, did you see this photo from the photo?
Oh,
I know.
Oh.
And then they posted.
oh, yeah, I know, yeah, let me tell you, like that Photo Richard page is. It is hard to read sometimes. It is, it is hard to read in that. It is. Kind of tough.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Now,
That's
a
why-
lot of really good things have happened on the page, but
That's why it's good to be in a group like this, so to see people. doing
Oh,
this kind of stuff, like,
I
it's
agree.
incredible to be here.
I agree. I agree.
Most people.
Yeah, oh, 1,000%.
We just don't see it.
Yes, yes, 1,000%. Yeah, it's.
I learn that more and more. every day.
Yeah, it's been funny seeing even the chamber get, tagged in posts recently about, what's the chamber doing with. All of the stuff going on with the economy and businesses closing, and it's like. You would know if you call,
Yeah,
Like-
like that would show up.
yeah, like,
You need to talk about different clothing because.
yes, exactly,
Right, like,
Yeah.
or everybody who's not closing because of the economy, or, that's just misinformation.
Yes.
Or assumption.
yes, and it's really interesting. Reading, the things that are very clearly not true, and that people just. I've heard the most random. Rumors about businesses closing that make zero sense. But then people start sharing things and misinformation and. It snowballs.
That just drives me crazy.
I
It's
don't-
just like, people just don't have I don't know what you call it, but a filter.
Yeah,
We know a whole bunch of stuff. Why do you say it?
Mhm.
Especially when you can't,
yeah.
it's not gonna do any good. It's gonna do harm to
Yeah.
another business.
Well, and even what people, the thing that I'm learning is people have an interesting expectation on. What different organizations do and what they should do, so, I have had people come into the chamber office and say. That the chamber needs to be responsible in raising funds to, offer rewards. To people as, they're calling in and filing police reports about graffiti, because. There's graffiti artists all over the place destroying our town. And we should offer a reward for people. Calling and giving
Is there a
information.
lot of extra graffiti going on that I don't know?
Let me tell you, it was interesting. And it was not one person, I've had 3 conversations like that.
I think the only time I've ever seen it is up at the Chevron up on,
Apparently, this person was walking by and he saw somebody had graffitied, one of the cars at the dealership even. And was like, our town is falling apart because people are just being able to get away with everything. I don't know if that's true, but also like. Why is that the chamber's job? Like. I don't understand.
What'd you say to them when they were talking to you about that?
Well, I told them that's not the chamber's job. I mean, quite honestly, that's not what the chamber does. That we work to help support businesses and bring people to our town and. That is,
So you promote advertising, but not that kind of.
yes, yeah, I mean, it's. We've had a lot of fun conversations. We've had a lot of conversations with people after. We've had a lot of interesting conversations with people regarding their opinions on our town government and what the chamber should do to interfere with all of those things. It's so interesting. I love it though.
That's really good.
They're not here for us.
Apparently,
They should be, that's a much scarier place to be than it is that for you. I don't wanna go to court.
Oh, is it the court?
That's the court, yeah, that's our municipal court. Have a judge.
Oh, I did not know that. Well, next time I wanna buy a ticket. but-
That's where you go.
Yeah, but really-
That, I mean, that's,
More than 2 hours.
I've done that once or twice, so.
Do they also marry people up here?
I know, I'm so good.
Yeah, I don't think,
That's
I don't know if he's doing,
That might.
because they all look really nice.
yes, I was like.
How big is that courtroom? Is it this size?
There's pews, like, there's like,
It's about the size, I mean, give or take,
We should
yeah.
just walk
If I need a prayer time, I can walk up here and use the judge.
Yeah, it's public.
Really?
Well, I did some interning for legal side years ago and, what part of my class duties was to go in and listen to a hearing. And so I went to the city of Tacoma and walked in on a criminal case, and it was quite interesting. Yeah.
They do adoption stuff here too then?
I don't know.
I don't know, I think it's Superior Court.
That's what I thought, yes.
More like
I mean,
that.
ours was.
Yeah, no, I agree, yeah.
You better something.
Or,
like that.
Put our church staff.
Yeah,
minor,
yeah.
Are you guys gonna do a open house kind of thing when the city hall's all done? Like showing people.
There should be a ribbon cutting that the chamber does.
I'll ask.
I'll wrap it as his list. But I'm just like, just to show people what, you know.
Yeah, we get questions asked about where. So, yeah,
Now you know there's pews.
I'll ask them.
That's a game changer.
It struck me like, there's pews in there.
Yeah.
That's literally what they are.
My pews are comfy. I've slept on many of them. I was a youth pastor for 5 years, so,
Really?
yeah. yeah.
Where?
First Baptist Church, Port Orchard. Up the hill.
I see them.
Hi, what were you asking for? I'll go to the event, sorry. Wait, no.
It's just over. There's nothing.
Welcome.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are gonna get started here.
Okay.
Not to ambush you guys, you get settled, but so our format today is we're gonna take set aside 10 minutes for you. Give us a little backstory on what you're asking for, a little bit about the Mustangs on the waterfront. And we're gonna reserve 5 minutes for question and answer. If we don't use all that, I'll turn it back over to you for anything that you wanted to add. And we'll start off with introductions. So I'll start here. I'm John Warren. I'm the city council and I'm the chair for this committee.
Annette Stewart, I have Smitty's Coop.
Lorraine Olson, hi, with, Mrs. Hall's Bed and Breakfast.
Randy Wallace, city clerk, city staff.
Cody Clark, Executive Director of the South Dakota Chamber of Commerce.
Sam Smith, Border Trip Bay Street.
I'm Susan Statzog. I am with the Kids at Mustang Club and I'm the show chair, and I have been doing that since 1997, actually. So, okay, so I want to get information from both of you today. So, let's see, where do I start? We've been on the Port Orchard waterfront since 1992. And in various, except a couple of years, 2020 and 21, we didn't have that. So I did not bring my write-up with me, and I should have, but you've all read that, right? So I'll just refresh all of that. So we're a nonprofit organization. We do a lot of community service. We try to do that. So we just recently, I don't know if I put this in my write-up though, because we're establishing a scholarship for high school students in, we're calling it kind of bridge to bridge, to the Tacoma Narrows up past into Port Townsend area. And so we're gonna offer this next year $1,000 scholarship for students graduating from various high schools in the area, who are going to do anything to do with automotive. So that's kind of something fun. And we support the food banks in Wilmington, South Kitsap and Fish Line. And we used to have a garbage or the highway out there between Molnix and Sedgwick. And that kind of went away during the COVID years. But so back to Mustangs on the waterfront. So we have started, I think first lodging tax we applied for was in 17. And, it's helped us, it actually helps us do more advertising and promoting the show. So we're able to do ads in the papers and things like that. Then we follow up and do a thank you as well. This past year, we met with the Puget or the Port Orchard Bay Street Association, and Sam suggested and others about the shuttle. So we implemented that last year. We didn't have a huge population because we don't or commuters coming down, but it was the first year, and we don't close Bay Street, but it was a good addition, I think. So I think we can just keep building on that, hopefully. So we have some extra expenses like that, because different things that have been implemented with the city and requirements for events held down there has cost more money. And we've chosen to, because we can't afford to like hire the public works. And so we try to do as much as we can in-house, but we work with RCE for the traffic control plan and signage and things like that, are newer requirements the past few years. We've had, pre-COVID, we had close to 300 Mustangs. And it's not that we don't like other cars, because we do, but this one is just exclusively to Mustangs. And we could make it big like the Cruise, but we don't, our vision is not to close Bay Street or anything like that, and just keep it quality over quantity. That's what current our thoughts are on that. So we have people come from, we have a few people that consistently always come from Canada, and some sporadically from Spokane, Idaho, Oregon. We had someone come from Arizona that used to be a member, but they didn't drive their car. So I don't know if we count that as long distance or not, because we do awards and stuff. So the city's been really generous in their time and support of the show, and the mayor or someone, if he's out on a river or whatever he does, his boat trips and stuff, but he comes down and kicks off our awards presentations, and people are really impressed with that, that the community here gets involved with the show, things like that. We've done our best to try to work with, because I know all the construction down there has been a challenge, right? And it's taken away some parking for show cars and things like that. But I think we had to change the entrances last year, but that worked out okay. It just, we couldn't use that street to park because we had to keep it clear for people coming in. But I think it worked out great. The people that do come to the show love the downtown and the waterfront, and we try to do this the poker walk and get people out along Bay Street and to visit businesses and things like that. Port Orchard Ford is a sponsor for the show, and they've done this a number of years now. On Saturday before the show, they host a barbecue and a show and shine. So that's kind of encourages people to come and spend the weekend, because some come in early Friday, some stay overnight Saturday, and some even choose to stay Sunday and avoid traffic going home on a Sunday afternoon or evening. So let's see. What can I talk about? Our club is made up of about 100 members. We probably have more cars than that in the club, but it's all volunteer based. I haven't talked yet for 10 minutes.
So,
but you can open it up to questions if you'd like.
I just, let's see, I don't think, maybe I mentioned this, but this is a fun thing that we do special for our show. So we take a picture of each car on the waterfront of Port Orchard. So everybody gets this to take home, right? This is my car, one of them, so. But anyway, so that's kind of a fun thing. And then we do our trophies. We put the picture on the trophies too. So that's kind of fun. And so, but it's a big endeavor, you know, a lot of support with volunteers and stuff and coordinating, you know, getting the pictures developed in a timely manner and getting them on the trophies. So fortunately, we have local photo developing places now in Port Orchard, so we don't have to run to Costco and still go. So anyway, but that's one thing. So we do we do a lot to promote Port Orchard. It's put on our t-shirts, put on our show programs, it's put on our flyers. And why I was asking these two gals to give me their info so we could put their businesses or places that people would stay on our flyer like we do with local hotels. Some have been full, so we've had the people that go to like downtown Bremerton to the Fairfield. We don't advertise them, no, we just advertise Orchard hotels. But we try to do as much as we can to promote the city as well. That's to get people to come visit more. So we're just a small, I know we're probably one of the smaller events down here, but people love coming to our little town.
Okay. Thank you. Questions for Mustang Club?
And you bring in about I read in here, you bring in about 1,000 people.
Yes, you know, it's kind of a guesstimate because we don't, you know, have an entrance to count people that come in, but that's, you know, the combination of the drivers. Everybody doesn't have 2 passengers, but, you know, kind of do a guesstimate with that. We collect their addresses and personal information so we can tell how far they come from their zip codes. So I guess, you know, that's kind of a guesstimate that we bring in about 1,000.
It's really hard. It's really hard to do that.
Unless between the, you know, our guests and people that come in. It usually doesn't pick up till on a Sunday, like late morning, early afternoon is when it usually picks up more. I mean, people are at church or different things they're doing in the morning, but we used to start our show like at 10, but we upped it to 9, so we can get more people all settled in there and, you know, set for the day. Last year it was fun. We had the Lions. No, the Eagles. I'm sorry. I'll tell the Lions I said Eagles. I mean, Eagles, said Lions, but the Eagles, Port Orchard Eagles came down and they set up their trailer and they did a breakfast for us and hamburgers and such. And the Port Orchard Library, they let us come in and use the back room to do ballots and trophies and such, and that's nice. And yeah, so, yeah.
Other questions?
And then I was just gonna add another comment about, your marketing is really impressive and you market nationally for.
Yeah, we do in the Mustang Club of America, and our club is MCA and endorsed club now. And I don't know why we didn't do it years ago, because the club was established in 1988. And so it's Kitsap County, Bremerton was their first meeting at the Cascade Gas Company or whatever. So our logo has Bremerton, Washington on there, but so yeah.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, so we try our best to.
Because it's marketing for Port Orchard and your
yeah,
too.
At our event too, but this is one of the favorite, I mean, I go to Mustang shows all over the state and with other people that come to ours. And I don't make every one the same as everybody that came last year may not make ours this year, but kind of, you know, things come up, but they love this location. It's one of the favorite ones that they like to go to. So if we didn't, you know, got more parking, we, I don't know. But we almost thought about let's make it like just pre-registration only, and that's what we kind of advertise, you know, to pre-register, so we know how many are coming, because the people that have been coming for, you know, different years, they've seen the, you know, different evolutions of downtown, you know. Bank-in hasn't been available for a while, but anyway, hope that. I'd like to hear comments from you guys that are in Port Orchard. Is it, this past year, did you see an improvement with our show, or do you have any comments about that or not, or was it, did you guys get to come?
So this is honest.
Yeah. You know.
I heard really good things about the Mustang shop, like over the years.
Mhm.
But I'm a Chevy person, so.
Oh, I know, I love Chevy. Okay, this is how I am. I like cars, all cars, but I love Mustangs. So I'm not a Ford or Chevy, but I love Chevys.
And we have gone through it and it's really nice. And I think it's great the way that it just brings people into the town.
Well, if you can give us advice or think of ways we can try to encourage people to come, you know, we're open to that too, for sure.
When I was down there too, and I just thought it was great, they're very well run, and I was looking for a specific card, everybody was like more than willing to help me
Yeah,
find it, and they did,
oh, good.
because they weren't there.
Did you want to get a Mustang?
I used to have a Mustang, I had a '66 Mustang when I was a teenager, yeah,
Are you trying to find that one?
that would be fun. That would be really fun, but it's like going back in my life when I go down there to both the car shows, like, it's so interesting.
No,
to
we
see.
have, it's shifted so much because we used to have, the majority was the classics, right? It was like 70-30, and now I think it's flipped. Because people, you know, yeah, it's some of my newer ones, it's nice because it has all the creature comforts, right? Air conditioning and
Heated
all
seats.
that, and yeah, so, but it's kind of flipped now, and we have more newer models than the old models, so.
But it's very well done, thank you, and thank you for having it in downtown, Richard.
Thank you for being great hosts.
Any other questions from us? Okay. Thank you, Susan. We
Okay,
appreciate it.
okay, well, nice to meet you.
All right, committee, so, we have all seen all of our, scheduled presentations today. We have set our next date, November 20th, 1 p.m. We'll ask our lovely city clerk if she would send us out a calendar invite for that.
And I forgot one thing before you excuse
Yes.
us. I forgot to ask you guys if there was any questions of Lady Washington that you wanted me to send to them that I can pass on to you. I should have done that when we had spare time, but if there is your questions and I can pass it on to them so that they can answer them and then I can pass it on to you.
So, we will come back for discussion on the 20th. All the 20th. All right, thank you, we are adjourned.
Yeah.
Thank you.